Hey folks, I'm still Maxwell Damage. And I forgot my bottle opener, didn't I? No, I didn't. Ah, good timing. Thank you, music, for distracting everyone while I have a fantastic Founders Brewery Kentucky Breakfast Stout. It has chocolate and coffee, aged in bourbon barrels, oatmeal stout. Just go get one if you like dark beers. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Now that I've been thoroughly distracted, let's wander over here with the rainstorm. Can I have... I guess I can't have that during the rainstorm. Okay. Oh. I can look at his stuff without him here. This says, humanitarian aid tuna fish. Not for resale. This says, speakers from the people of Samara. This says, food gift from the people of Messina. This says, bottle. Delicious bottle. Actually, can I still buy... No, wait. Not doing it with Kim here, I said, for the 12th time. Now, what am I currently wearing? Half-light? No. Electrochem? Yes. Minus half-light plus suggestion, or do I want... Predicor shivers. Almost want to put on the jacket just so that... Just for character flair at that point. Yes. A sewer grate. The gateway to the river of filth. But we have a box. We have another tear. Tare, tear. T-word. Most checks do have secret difficulty modifiers. This entire room is full of them. Welcome to the pawn shop. Alright, we have a lot of things to check out here. No, stop. Some kind of machine. An antique cash register? A bust of a woman. The plaque simply says, Day. In the dark, a film projector. It's whirring away. That's what's making the fun patterns on the walls. Now you can hear it winding. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then use it to win her back. What? Win her back? Yes! Buy something nice, a figurine. Okay, well, big men on big horses clad in lamellar armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye. Hey, who are they? Franco-Nigerian knights. He looks at the dusty figurines in the dim light. I used to be very serious about these guys. Alright, what about the guys in blue? They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets. Kim, are these the royalist soldiers? And instead, Roy answers, because I presume too much. Which ones? Ah, yes, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like bright colors indiscriminately. Thanks. Rude. How about the figurines and rags? Well, this set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels, tall sticks, torches, pitchforks. Are these even soldiers? You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yeah? Yeah, they're soldiers. Revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. I do wish it was more nuanced. Even we can do it, but oh, it is impossible to win against the cohorts of capital. Ask my friend Gart, whose bitch it made me. Okay. I don't like either set too much, to be honest. Where's my real from that? Alright. Let's dig for a really cool figurine. Boop. What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say "Fall." What the heck is this? Oh, that's the Headless Fallen Rider. Who? The Headless Fallen Rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Revachol, sporting a fallen tracksuit. As you can see, he's missing his head. He points at the decapitated figurine. 50 cents, bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap, too. I think he's looking for it or something. That part of the story has many interpretations. Alright. Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you. He grins. It's disturbing. No one is happy about this. That was a very smooth salesman's grin that almost comes off as earnest. You should learn from him. What's up here? The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. Alright, hop up on tiptoe. Do the meerkat. Let's see more. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big ol' handle on top. A classic boombox that says, Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Gold and orange. A tequila sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy it. Shopkeep. The Stereo 8 approved machine here is the Harman Waushi W02. Made in Vesper, designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real. Are you sure it's all in working order? Absolutely. I've tested each one with recordings of speech, found sounds, and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music. I kind of appreciate Godspeed You Black Emperor, but that's kind of pushing it. What I really want to know is, could this device come in handy in my totally official police work? If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape. That's all. How about over here? Mostly military wear, with a few more eccentric fashions thrown in. Alright, what else? Wow! A very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb. Oh yeah? Oh yeah. The Kool-Aid Man just broke through the wall to say that. The print depicts a muscled man striding towards you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hyumdall burning. Sniff the t-shirt? Question mark? Smells like worn cotton and a little sweat there. Worn cotton with a side of flea market. Or trash bin. You've been through one of those recently. Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions or alpha particles in the fabric of things you're not going to buy. You're not imagining. Photon emissions? What is he talking about? What's the deal with the man on this t-shirt? It's the man from Hyundai. Walking away from his burning village. Yes. I'm not going to go into detail, so just remind me, who's the man from Hyundai again? The man from Hyundai is the hero of a series of popular books, based on a fictional version of Gatla, mostly what is nowadays Arda NFD. In fact, most people don't think that the man from Hyundai ever really existed, but they are wrong. The lieutenant raises a ball. Hyundai isn't the real place. Neither is the man a real man, of course. But both the man and Hyundai are an ontological necessity. But, hey, it's not worth getting into an argument about. What do you mean the man from Hyundai was real? I mean, even if the man from Hyundai didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple, really. Okay. You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Katla, though not quite as far north as the Hyundai, and watched the northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique energetic tides there. You mean to tell me that you have seen the northern lights? Here? Localized in your pawn shop? At this time of year? In these atmospheric conditions? In this economy? Yes. Can I see it? No. Very, very unique energies indeed. Geomagnetic ley lines, one might even say. How much are you selling this shirt for? 2 real. That is the cheap. Couldn't you just give it to me at that rate? But why? The man from Hyundai is a superstar. I'm a superstar. It would be perfect. Wait, that works? I suppose that makes sense, yes. Please, go ahead and take it. Welcome to Hyundai. Folks, I didn't think that worked. It's +1 physical instrument, inspiring musculature. +1 shivers, it's a sprawling saga, but -2 authority. We are too old for this shirt, viewers. The man from Hyundai is standing in front of a burning village, dual-wielding his ever-present Zweihanders. Dual-wield... His muscles look ready to burst out of the 2-dimensional print and into your 3-dimensional life. Okay. Ooh. A typical Martinet streetlight sits amongst assorted floor and or table lamps. Is that a streetlight? Yes, officer. As you can see, it's in perfect working order. His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide. Where did you get this? It was brought to me to be altered. He leans in so the pawnbroker wouldn't hear him. We're not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit, it's rather clever what he's done with you. Let your gaze run over the streetlight. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. I'll bite. How much for the streetlight? 700 real. A bargain, I dare say. As much as I want to say there's one like that on every corner just for the literal joke of it, that's a little rude to an artisan. As a musician who doesn't always get compensated fairly for his services, I am not going to lowball another art/craft person, but I am going to, even taking into account the risk of obtaining the light, that sounds a bit steep. How about you tell me about some transformations? There's also the matter of rewiring, but the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago. We're gonna go back through it. Are you out of your mind? There's one like it on every corner. He rests his elbows on the counter and brings his face closer to the glass. The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price tag. What do you mean? Well, there are the costs of removal and rewiring. And as I said already, the placement indoors. 700 sounds about right. Hey, I don't know where it came from, but it's not every day you get to buy and sell something so extraordinary. I'm good. Alright, so lamp. No, okay. Alright, what's up, my man?
Often I see officers of the RCM in my pawn shop.
I am glad I decently remembered his voice, considering it took me that long to actually hear him today. The man at the counter turns to you slowly.
What can I do for you?
Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately, RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored.
Which one of them am I, Roy? Sorry, person whom I do not know.
As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Honestly, I think some of your selections are more tasteful than others.
It keeps me entertained.
He responds, unimpressed with your snobbery. That wasn't how I meant it, but I see why it comes off that way. Hi, I have social processing issues. He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe? Entertained? He might be high. If he is. On what? Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard! He's probably on Pure Holodon. Pure Holodon. There we go. Pure Holodon. It's tough to come by on the street. What is that? A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects. And it makes your eyes turn yellow. Is it me, or is it really warm in here? Because, the patch that was supposed to fix the text size didn't entirely. I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature. Chill out, man. I'm a chill out cop who just wants some of what you're having. I should have done this with Kim gone. Nope. It's pretty obvious that you're under the influence, sir. He frowns. Pure Holodon is just something you know, since the People's Poil disaster. I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. Had to take it for radiation sickness. But he's taking it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days. The People's Pile? What's that? A bad idea. Some poor leftists built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you, too. Tell me more about the brigade. We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. Tried to help fire brigades contain the spill. On the patch, the white triangle on his orange safety jacket, gamma radiation lines, crossed with a red drop of blood. I live by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperanz. Didn't have the heart to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out, you know. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick. He looks at the spiraling light and stops. Must have been tough, radioactive cleanup. There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has ever tried to replace or repair the pile. So much disappointment. Early deaths, cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming, even as we were cleaning up as best we could. Whose fault was it that the generator failed? No one's, everyone's. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? Fair enough. How'd you end up running a pawn shop, Roy? Cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and the assorted junk in it. All the assorted junk in it? Some has changed since that time, you twit. So, I came to Martinez. People told me, don't go there, it's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far from Farburg as I can. Still in the same city, but... He shrugs. Thank you for telling me. I like theory more than story. Outward movement, not vortices. Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man. By the way, no. You might be able to aid our investigation. I doubt it, but I can try to answer any questions you might have. Know anything about the recent hanging? I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone. How about getting a corpse out of a tree, Roy? Have you even said your name? No, your name's on the sign outside. I know your name. Whatever. The corpse behind the hostel, I assume. He looks into the swirling lights, trailing off. Then eventually back to you. I don't have a truck with a mounted platform or anything of that sort myself. Ask around the arbor. There might be some workers there who'd be willing to help. That's all I got. There is something I'd like to sell. Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps. The lieutenant steps in and hands him the spinners. Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop. He marvels at the cobalt shimmer and nods. Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Maybe some Nigerian prince left you these in what's left of his bank account through an email? Jump a mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real. No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you, the lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens the register and counts the cash. Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again. Thank you. He takes the cash, then turns to you. Here's the 100 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it. The rest goes in his pocket. Anything else you're thinking of selling? I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here. Oh, no, I don't like those kind of objects. No sale. He barely even looks at it. Do you know what the tattoos mean? Aphotic paths? Counter-radiant networks? Anti-magnetism? It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter. Well, I have this commemorative pin, but before I sell it, I have some questions. He studies it carefully, rolling it around in his palm. Saint-Baptiste Summer Dinghy Races, 31. What a pleasant time that was. So, what do you want to know? Price? I can give you $320 for it. $320? For a commemorative pin? I don't know about that. A pin from 31 ought to be priced at $310, but I added another 10 cents, just to be nice. Just for the mechanics of doing it. Okay, but can you hold on to it for a few days before putting it up for sale? I promise to give the pin back. Sure. I can keep it behind the counter for a week, but only if you pawn it right now. Okay? I'd like to sell my clothes. I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. Then let me look at my pockets. This plastic headless fallen rider sits atop his equally plastic bull, his posture indicating either desperation or pride. Comes as a set with the infamous fallen cap for which he lost his head. Head not included. I could pawn the photo? I never actually tried that. I don't know if you're supposed to pawn the postcards. I've always just collected them. Never. Tempting. And there you have it. 50 cents. No! I didn't mean to do that. We'll be right back, viewers. I don't know what you're talking about, viewers. Absolutely nothing happened to the tape deck at all. Ha 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 ha. I don't have anything to sell at the moment. Certainly not anything by accident. By the way, I'd like to buy back the pin. Yes, fortunately, I still have it. $3.30 and it's yours. But I sold it for $3.20. Yes, you did. But this is how pawn shops make profit. Do you want it or not? Yeah, give me that. Here you go, officer. Anything else I can do for you today? Not right now. Maybe in about 20 minutes. All right. Now, do you have anything to add? Oh, we still have very little idea there. We're going to have to add some logic later. We may not be a mental giant by any means, but we're still a police officer. We're going to have to remember a little bit of how to be a police officer.
Hello again, officer. How are things?
It's so late, and you're still here. I'm in Nighthawk. What can I say? She flashes a smile. Odd. Yeah, I gotta go. See a container you can't open? Equip a pry bar. Luckily, you have one now. Look, if I can't give you your card back, I'm probably gonna pawn it. Letting you know. All about the Benjamins. Detective, who is this Benjamin? I don't know why I said that. Actually, out of comedy's sake. I don't think I've ever... Shh! Shh! We're not going to try to open that with Kim here. That's what I thought. Wow! I did not stop to think about how many bottles were in our room, folks. That's what we call profit. Or if you'd like the Mickey Mouse version. That's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Gart? Gart?
Can I help you?
So, about that money I owe. Yes, have you got it? I have your money. Well, here it is. Sorry about the trouble. Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance. Starting tomorrow? He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 2100. He taps his foot against a metal box installed in the back of the bar counter, even though he's not a bartender. Please pay for each night in advance. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night. Kim opens his wallet. I'll take a room here too. Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Have I seen another thing at the Whirling? No, I haven't. Do we want to do the not a bartender skit again? Nah. Before I do that, let's hop into the thought cabinet. Oh wait, I'm not gonna... Got 2 skill points. I already read that. But we are some kind of superstar. That's going to give us no logic for a little while. Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally. And now we know your kappa type. Wait, there are kappa types? Yeah. Guess what's yours? I'm kind of hoping I'm the superstar cop. That is only a ludicrous daydream. Guess again. You're the... I guess I have apologized by now, but I've done a lot of superstar stuff. Cool cop? No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's the sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Won't the other coppa types be jealous? What, jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine, don't worry. They'll be super, super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual type. You can dual kappa type from sorry to anything. Fucking, they should be sorry! Yes, yes, impotent rage and lamentation. Let's wrap it up. But I've already been a sorry cop. Actually, I'm not sorry! I changed my mind. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the repentance. I don't have a lot of foreknowledge about this. BRB Part 2. No. I'm really not sorry. Fuck off again. Wow, okay, fuck off. Maybe we were wrong about you then. That said, I'm not going down that road, not because it's incompatible with what I want to do, but because it's going to offer dialogue choices I've already seen. And at least, even if I wasn't going to take them, not having them there means that I might be able to take more things that I didn't notice my first time around. So no, we can apologize without being a sorry sack of a cop. Kim, you done with the notebook? All right.
Yes?
Oh, our smokes wore off. How many times am I going to hit escape trying to get out of a conversation? The answer is a lot. I did it a lot in my first playthrough too. Okay. All right, it opens. But I don't want a good night. I want a recap.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
All right, let's go. Me and my goofy coat and everything. Excuse me. The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. I just saw how much time we've taken, but we're going to play this out. I don't care how long it takes. He listens to the traffic hum and then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
I didn't know you smoked, Kim. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual. Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette. A cigarette is such a great idea. I think I'm gonna have one too. He blows a steady stream of smoke. Your call, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night. How did you get so cool, Kim? The light of his cigarette illuminates a fleeting smile. You mean this? He flicks the ash. This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will. And unhealthy. Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier just to quit. Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit, but below it all. Right then, the debrief. Let's get back to it. Yes. It's been a long and eventful day. How do you think today went? Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortuitous, and there's still much to do at the crime scene. Say nothing. Just look at the city. I don't think saying it's part of the plan is helpful to us right now. As for the interviews, we conducted an interview with Everard Clare. He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however. I'm a little intimidated by him, honestly. He has stuff on me. Well, we will have to work through that. Claire also helped you, how I say, remember your name? That's a relief. I want a different name. One I haven't ruined yet. You can look into the process of changing your name after we finish this investigation. We tried to interview the Wild Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? The Jamrock Shuffle? I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow. Yes, it's part... I don't like to... Kim, I don't know. I don't like to waste time, you know? My mind moves fast, the rest has to try to keep up. He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on a cigarette. It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those heels. He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles suddenly. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. So, what are our powers exactly? The RCM. Can we summon Captain Planet? They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Ravachol Citizens Militia exercised most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse? Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always also give me a second. As citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers from the RCM has been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. Well, why not more? The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We're not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Crevishore. What else? We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. Wait, how can you be sure the arrestee will show up? You can't. Those who don't show up will become fugitives, though, and will have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up. Makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of times where I say that you have a person has exactly as much power as they are able to convince others that they have. It's not necessarily about what you can do. It's about what people believe you can do. But that's a discussion for the comments section or a later video, perhaps. I see. What if somebody resists? We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethally. Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty, you have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually a witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs. Oh, you mean the Rat Squad? We do not use that name, Detective. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best. Have I killed anyone, Kim? That is an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility. I don't know if I really want to know. Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence. Have you, Kim? Yes. He pauses. The last time was 4 years ago. He's internalized it well. It's just that. A fact. A self-contained, past event. What happens to the people we convict, Kim? We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Coron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. He taps on his coat pocket where he keeps his little blue notebook. And who makes these rules? The coalition government and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. His gaze is absently fixed on a window below you that just went dark. Or perhaps it was better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Let's say it was the citizens, Kim. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city. And they will take it away if we misuse it. What is the moral intern? The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They run this place after the revolution failed. If I didn't know, how would you describe them? They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? What do they believe in? They are DeLoreans. They travel through time at 88 miles per hour. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by her innocent Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they're just technocrats. Who was Dolores Day? A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me. For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say why. What's their symbol? Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that. Whoops. I meant to hit the spacebar. Sorry. Something ominous. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above. What do you think of it? The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And he looks at the city below you. It doesn't look like that's about to happen. I have an opinion on the moral intern. Do you? The lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. I forgot how awful the nationalist dialogue for this thing is. Do we need them here? Because we are stooges. They have done an awful job. But we do need the power to do this. They've done an awful job here, Kim. Have you seen this place? This isn't humanism. We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Maybe we should make our own law. Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martine, we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to be quite challenging. He looks over at the roundabout. The traffic is still embedded in the square. The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses. The red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over. Say nothing. Just look into the night. The dying lights of the city shimmer below, slowly, like luminous clouds. They pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. Finally, he pulls on the cigarette and says, "They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Puno." What you say, fuck? Christ, he can hear me. Christ? Who's that, Kim? I don't know. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock, and the GRIH. GRH? Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor. You remember this from like episode 9. Okay, that's fair. Why are they like this? It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the Wild Pines Company, not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks. And in Jamrock and the Greater Industrial Harbor, looks at the dark silhouette of the King's Equestrian Monument cutting into the night sky. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... but we are in control. And it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, this city would disintegrate. I really hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good. Me too. Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes. He's very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older. Thank you for this, Kim. Yeah, it's getting very cold now. He puts out the stub of his cigarette on his shoe and looks to the door. I guess we'll run just a little bit further. I'll see you in the morning. Good night, Kim.
Yes?
But hey, come back. Nothing. You gone. Can I knock? Well, I can't think of a better way to close out this episode, folks. I'll see you again in the morning.